With Nelson Mandela's death earlier this month, a lot has been said about Israel's military cooperation with the apartheid regime in South Africa. But it now emerges that Mandela was himself trained by Mossad as an opposition leader in the early 1960s. And to talk to us about that is the man who unveiled this top-secret document, David Fachler, an independent scholar. Good evening.
Good evening. Hi.
What is it? You know, why? How come it was lying there for 50 years and just waiting for David Fachler to come along and expose it to the public?
Well, the way the archives work is only release them 30 years after the letters the correspondence has been gone, and then they're released into the public. Mm-hmm. So it would have anyway firstly been available around the mid-90s.
Mm-hmm.
Why it was released for public consumption, I cannot answer you. It's a top secret, and a lot of the defense documents, if you ask for them and they all consumed, they blocked to everyone, but this one happened to just be lying there in one of the files.
Uh-huh. So it was there declassified for 20 years and you just stumbled upon it by accident?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And there was no indication prior to that or after that Mandela and Mossad were in some sort of contact?
Well, think about it. The document comes from October. The Israelis discover that this person who presented himself as David Mabsari,
mm-hmm.
or I've seen someone else actually, historically we know that he had a passport, David Mabsari, sounds similar. The person that they were training, they suddenly noticed a picture of him in South Africa, called the Black Pimpernel, and they didn't know about Nelson Mandela then. And they suddenly noticed that he's that same person.
Mm.
They noticed that 3 months later. He's been arrested. He then goes to jail, and 27 years later is released. So they couldn't have had any more contact with him.
Right. No, but I'm talking about the indication. I mean, did it not come out? Did it not leak before that? Were there ever theories about this contact before you discovered that this paper?
Not that I'm aware of that there were any leaks. I don't think so. And the fact that now now that it's come out, they're denying it, the Nelson Mandela Foundation. So they definitely weren't. They definitely weren't.
Yeah, because Mandela was well known for his solidarity with the Palestinians from a very early stage.
I don't know how early a stage, but yes, definitely as soon as it came out.
Mm-hmm. No, but what do you think motivated him to cooperate with Mossad? Is it just military training?
Yes, it seems like it. It was military and judo, and there are other reports. I'm not really an expert on Mandela himself, but there are reports that say that Mandela, the methods adopted by the Haganah and the Irgun were attractive to him, and he liked.
That's in the pre-state years. We're talking about at least 15 years beforehand.
44 to 47. Right. Yes, I imagine something like that.
Yeah.
And he liked Menachem Begin's The Revolt. I mean, he didn't obviously necessarily sympathize with Likud ideology, but the methodology that they used, Etzel and Nechi and Haganah and those kind of things, obviously would be interesting to him because the ANC wanted to overthrow the white regime.
Yeah.
So the methodology, the methods behind it would have been something that he would have been attracted to. The question is what Israel,
the only thing that Israel, from its point of view, back in the day, was playing with fire, because there were quite a few Jews, white Jews, in South Africa that were part, not of the establishment, but of the society that made the establishment or the regime that Nelson Mandela sought to overthrow. Don't you think it might have put them in a precarious position?
Had it been, as was reported in Haaretz, had it been discovered by South African government, or if they had discovered it and kept it secret, that's a separate issue. But had it been discovered by anyone who had any kind of motive against the Jews, it would have looked terrible for the Jewish community. The Jewish community would have been portrayed anyway. A Zionist was often looked at someone with dual loyalties, or any Jew was, and to have this association with subversive movements, as they were called by the South African government, it would have been a you can question the move now, but they thought, we have to recall, according to the letter by the Mossad, they thought he came from Rhodesia. Rhodesia also had Jews, but a much smaller population.
Sure.
But they thought he came, and Rhodesia was also going through their own. I'm not an expert on Rhodesia and when Zambia and when Zimbabwe separately came about, but they thought he was a Rhodesian expat, but it was very, very much playing with fire and very much putting the South African community at risk.
And nobody in the letter, the Mossad agent or whoever it was, did not account for that.
Not at all. In fact, they're more open letters that aren't necessarily from the Mossad, but they're from embassies around Africa who are reporting to. This is all open in the. When I last checked, maybe they're going to change it now. But the embassy is full of correspondence between. Not embassies there's actually is a letter in South Africa. Someone wanted to meet with underground movements, a consul in South Africa, when they told him not to. But around Africa, around decolonized Africa, when 63, 64, the one stationed in Kenya and in other places around Africa, there is correspondence between them and the PAC. Now, the PAC was definitely looked upon as a terrorist organization. They're the ones who organized Sharpeville, and there was ongoing contact. Israel was said to have provided the PAC. I mean, the PAC actually thanked them for providing Land Rovers. I think maybe other training as well, but Israel was definitely, and they knew who they were dealing with, and yet they were supporting these organizations at the time that South African Jews were in a precarious position in any event, because it was run by governments which previously had Nazi sympathies, and they were anyway feeling precarious.
Sure. Where did this training take place? Was it actually did it actually materialize?
Look, we have this one document, so you can read into one document as much as. But I have been contacted by someone from Ethiopia who confirms that the Ethiopian police and Israel had special contacts with each other. So it could have been a joint training.
Yeah, it's quite a striking coincidence that your discovery was made in such close proximity to Mandela's death.
I discovered this years ago. I decided to publish it because I was a bit perturbed that Israel didn't have a full representation at the funeral. So I decided my main point originally was to express distress at that fact, and I added this as a tip. I didn't realize it would have such triple effect, but there wasn't. There's nothing behind. I mean, the archives originally didn't want to even publish it.
So it's to highlight the fact that Mandela espoused some sort of relationship with Israel even before he became president.
And that Israel should have
and should not apologize.
A dignified representation to the funeral.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It would have been very much better for the Jewish community. Israel has before not been respectful to the community. A few years ago, the then head of the opposition, Livni, was meant to come to South Africa, and because of some silly strike, she didn't arrive, and it was South African jury weren't happy about that.
Right. All right, David Fachler, independent scholar, and the man who unveiled the evidence of the cooperation between Nelson Mandela and the Israeli Mossad in the early 1960s. Thank you very much for coming on the line.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.